everyone's favorite synthetic blood-drinking Dracula/overbearing father only recently returned to the big screen in the fourth installment of the Hotel Transylvania franchise, Transfermania. As always, you can count on Drac and his peculiar family for a laughter-filled adventure, and of course, some sneaky little Easter eggs. From a secretly hot invisible man to clever PG jokes, here are some of the hidden gags and secrets you might have missed the first time you watched Transfermania. Let's get to it. First up, the happy anniversary incident. The movie starts off with the hotel's 125th anniversary party, and to say it was a grand affair would be an understatement. Johnny went all out organizing it, from monster performances to a lavish feast. Of course, Hotel Transylvania wouldn't be Hotel Transylvania without some chaos. But did you know the filmmakers snuck a little PG joke in there? One of the performances included the werewolf kids running onto the stage with a set of cards that spelled out Happy Anniversary. But in their mad rush, one of the pups trips over, and the rest follow suit. When they do manage to get back on their feet, they have all the alphabets jumbled up, and Happy Anniversary turns into something else entirely. At first, it reads very Phineas, which doesn't make much sense unless you grew up watching Disney Channel's Phineas and Ferb. But that's not the Easter egg. The actual joke becomes clear once the remaining pup gets up, adding another S to very fine as. You can catch a glimpse of it for just a fraction of a second when Drac freezes everything. We can't help but chuckle at the filmmaker's ingenuity. Of course, the entire scene is pretty chaotic, and Dracula saves the day pretty quickly, leaving the kids oblivious. Next, the not-so-ordinary tables. Here's another little detail you might have overlooked at the dinner party. Everything obviously had to reflect the monstrous gathering, including the decor, so the filmmakers added something extra to the table's centerpieces. If you look closely enough, you'll realize that in addition to flowers, they added tentacles as well as eyeballs. The choice of cutlery was a funny Easter egg too. Instead of actual forks and knives, the guests had to eat with mini axes and prongs. On top of that, the tables had some pretty interesting salt and pepper shakers. If you zoom in on them, you'll see their design, with small spikes and tortured faces. You'll instantly think of the ancient torture device, the Iron Maiden. Now we have the insane props in Van's lab. By now, we know Dr. Van Helsing has the craziest, most outrageous devices at his disposal. We mean, he did make the device that transformed a 545-year-old Dracula into a fairly young-looking human being in the fourth film. But it's when he takes Johnny down to his lab that we truly see his collection of weird objects. Most of the things in his lab are a nod to his monster hunting days, which, as we all know, are behind him now. Anyway, if you look closely, you can spot a huge dinosaur skeleton, as well as a mysterious humanoid skeleton with horns. We're not quite sure what that was exactly. There's also a giant robot outfit and an old diving suit as well, which, believe it or not, he might have used to discover the lost underwater city of Atlantis. Oh, and how can we forget the plane that he used for hunting down good old Drac in Transylvania 3? You can see a replica of that hanging from the ceiling. You can also spot the body of a huge shark just hanging there in the cluttered background. We have reason to believe it could be Sharky, one of the monster pets of Dracula. It was featured in the short film Monster Pets, where it was introduced to Tinkles. The filmmakers appear to have answered the question about Sharky's fate with this subtle detail. Rest in peace, Sharky. Next, the Invisible Man and his clothes. One of the most interesting characters in the Hotel Transylvania franchise has been the Invisible Man. Turns out, not only was he invisible, he was also naked the whole time. When Dracula's pack turns human, all of them are shocked to learn that Griffin never wore clothes, like ever. Many of the fans had this theory early on in the movie series, and we guess this was a bit of a hat tip to them. While fans were happy to see their theory work its way into the film, they weren't so happy with the way he looked as a visible human being. Apparently, no one thought he'd be a balding, unappealing and out-of-shape middle-aged man. The red hair and those glasses really played the audience because everyone expected him to be kind of a hottie. In fact, there was an entire petition where the fans asked the filmmakers to make Griffin hot. Interestingly enough, over 30,000 people actually signed it. Of course, that didn't really help much, and he stayed pretty much the same. But the makers were nice enough to include a relatively hotter version of him just for a few seconds. Remember the crystal cave scene? Watch the broken reflections carefully. Once Griffin comes into view, you can see a completely different version of him with a head full of hair and a killer jawline. Next, Dracula and blah blah blah. There's a stereotype about Dracula in Transfermania that he supposedly goes around saying blah blah blah. And our very own Drac has had it, explaining that he's never said it. In fact, he doesn't even know where that came from. Turns out he was right. Tons of websites, including vampires.com, confirm that Dracula has never said that phrase, not in the books, nor in the live-action movies that came before Hotel Transylvania. So where does the blah 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 cliche come from then? 2 words: Bela Lugosi, the Hungarian-American actor who played Count Dracula back in the 1931 film. But he didn't give us the phrase that drives Drac nuts. It actually comes from bad impersonations of him. But to be honest with you, blah 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 is kinda catchy. Now, Dracula busted some trendy moves. To really connect with the younger audience, the filmmaker snuck in some famous social media trends in Transfermania. Remember when Dracula turned into a human but was trying really hard to hide it from Mavis? The dance moves that Wayne the werewolf shows him to distract her were actually pulled from actual social media dance challenges. We owe Drac's hilarious moves to Jalailah Harmon, who created the viral Renegade dance. The dance was all over TikTok when it came out. Interestingly, not only did they work the challenge into the movie, they even hid a real streamer in there, like the Party Monster. Did you know his character was actually inspired by the famous streamer Tyler Bevins, popularly known as Ninja? Looking at the character and the streamer now, we can say they look pretty similar. Next, a different Drac behind the scenes. Unless you're an extreme fan of Dracs, you probably didn't notice a change in his voice. Adam Sandler voiced the iconic Dracula of Hotel Transylvania in all the 3 parts before Transfermania. However, the actor was replaced in the 4th part, and the filmmakers decided to bring in YouTuber/impressionist/voice actor Brian Hall. Hall is mostly known for his YouTube channel, where he posts videos of him singing as different popular characters. He's pretty good at it too, because he's managed to attract over 2.3 million followers. Now, the filmmakers didn't pick the new behind-the-scenes Drac on a whim. It turns out Hall had already voiced the characters in the short film Monster Pets. We have to say he did a pretty impressive job, because his Drac and Sandler's Drac sound uncannily similar. Lastly, a hint at Hotel Transylvania 5. While official sources claim that Transfermania marks the end of the monstrous comedy franchise, we're not sure that's all there is to Drax and Friends' journey. The last film ended on a bittersweet note, but the ending didn't quite seem like the end of the road for Hotel Transylvania. When Dracula and his pack are returning to the hotel, after turning back to their normal, inhuman selves, we see there's nothing left of the beloved hotel. It has turned to dust thanks to Gigi the pet guinea pig. However, Drac lets Mavis and Johnny take the reins, and they rebuild it with their own vision. Resultantly, we got a brand new hotel, which is nothing like the old one. The new version is more bright and fun, with a bunch of cool activities, including a relaxing spa and an attractive water park. We can bet that'll bring in a younger crowd of monsters. Many fans believe the ending to be symbolic, as they believe the filmmakers are hinting on another chapter of the story. Come to think of it, a spin-off of sorts would totally work out for this franchise. The next chapter could leave Drac track behind and focus on Mavis and Johnny running their brand new hotel. As much as we'd like that, nothing has been confirmed yet. And that wraps up our video for today. Which secrets and Easter eggs surprised you the most in the movie? Do you think Hotel Transylvania should continue the story through a 5th season? Let us know in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. See you in the next one.